The 1950s in Europe began with resilience. World War II had left cities in ruins, families displaced, and economies shattered. Yet people were determined to rebuild, creating new homes from rubble, reviving industries, and embracing hope for a better future. Family life was central. The typical household often included a stay-at-home mother, a working father, and children. Dinner was a sacred family affair, with hearty meals symbolizing stability. Values like respect for elders, discipline, and community were emphasized in homes across Europe. Cities saw rapid reconstruction, with modernist architecture replacing bombed-out buildings. Apartment blocks and suburban homes emerged. In rural areas, people lived in traditional cottages or farmhouses, maintaining a slower pace of life compared to the bustling cities. Fashion reflected elegance and practicality. Men donned suits and hats, while women wore knee-length dresses, gloves, and pearls, epitomizing post-war femininity. Teenagers embraced the rise of rock and roll with bold skirts and leather jackets, defying older generations' norms. Schools emphasized discipline and rote learning. Children wrote on slates or in exercise books, learning arithmetic, history, and language. Teachers were figures of authority, and education was viewed as a path to opportunity, particularly in countries recovering from the war's devastation. Europe's workforce powered economic recovery. Men toiled in factories, rebuilt infrastructure, or managed family businesses. Women began joining the workforce, though often in clerical or service roles. Farming still dominated rural life, with families working the land together. Technological advancements began to shape daily life. Radios became household staples, bringing music and news into homes. By the late 1950s, television sets appeared in wealthier households, transforming entertainment and connecting people to world events in unprecedented ways. Transportation and mobility. Bicycles and trains were common means of transport, especially in cities. Cars became symbols of status as affordability improved. In rural areas, horse-drawn carts were still used. Air travel, though rare, began to appeal to wealthier Europeans seeking adventure or business travel. Cinema flourished, with theaters showing Hollywood and European films that captivated audiences. Dance halls, community gatherings, and local fairs were popular social outlets. In rural areas, folk traditions like music, dancing, and storytelling remained integral to community life. Food was simple yet hearty. War rationing influenced diets, with many families relying on homegrown vegetables and locally sourced meats. Bread, potatoes, and stews were staples. Cafes became gathering spots, where people sipped coffee and exchanged news or gossip. Teenagers began asserting their identity. Influenced by American culture, they embraced rock and roll, danced to Elvis Presley, and formed distinct fashion styles. This youth culture symbolized a break from the austerity of the past, signaling a generational shift. Religion remained a cornerstone of life. Churches were central to community life, hosting services, weddings, and festivals. In predominantly Catholic or Protestant countries, faith shaped values and rituals, though secularism quietly gained traction in suburban centers. The shadow of the Cold War loomed over Europe. People lived with the tension of nuclear threat and ideological division. Governments urged preparedness, and families occasionally practiced drills, though most focused on rebuilding their lives rather than fear of global conflict. The 1950s saw the birth of consumer culture. Shops began filling with new appliances like refrigerators, washing machines, and vacuum cleaners, easing household chores. Advertising boomed, enticing people to embrace modernity and indulge in goods once seen as luxuries. The decade ended with a mix of nostalgia and progress. People cherished the stability they had regained while looking toward the future with optimism. The 1950s became a foundation for social, cultural, and economic transformations that would define Europe in the decades to come.